Okay, I'm just trying to follow the notes that we have here. So today's talk, I don't even remember what the title was today, but I know it's about letting go. And I also know that we're working on the power of elimination, renunciation. Just to share a short story about that, Erin and I were talking, Aaron and I were talking. She likes some of the religious science approach because it's not so old-fashioned speaking as far as the Fillmores and how they speak. But this is a Unity church. And so I was going to use a lot of Unity information today to share what it means with you having the power of elimination. It is the ability to release, remove, denounce, deny, or let go. What I've found in my life, I've seen that process read in and every power. We do need to let go before we can receive the good for us. The disciple is Thaddeus, and he represents the expulsion of negative thinking. The corresponding color is russet, which Chris is wearing today because of her youth ministry day. We always wear the colors of the month. I just always love seeing that. It reminds me of that energy surrounding her and us, and the locations in the region. So I've had a lot go on in my life lately, and that's why I made a decision to ask for a sabbatical. And sometimes you got to let go of things that you love and you enjoy to make the space for you to have order in your life. And what was going on, and I do want to correct something because I did get some information. People were concerned that my mother's health may be failing. And yes, I did take care of my mother, who is 92 years old. But all of a sudden, I stepped into my fear. Oh my gosh, the first thing we all think of is, what is it? What is it? And is it this? And is it that? Versus focusing on the divine health of the person. But I want to share with you, my mother is doing fine. She is part of the time that I have to spend my life right now, but she is doing well. So hold her in the highest regard and perfect health. With that, I just want to share a little bit of why I chose to go on sabbatical. Let go. It's something that was very important to me. We all know, and I've shared the story as far as my life with estate issues and the mess that my husband left. And so it's getting more intense, and I'm spending more time looking at accounting for the past 3 years. And also during the church, when I was working at the church, I was doing the rentals, and my brain was getting into all the mechanics. Well, I vowed years ago when I retired that I did that, and I was okay as far as doing the accounting and all the numbers and the detail stuff. And I was being moved away from my own spiritual nature. And I knew I had to step back to do something. So I requested to be able to speak on one Sunday and do the class so that I could feed myself spiritually and give myself some open space to be able to handle things without feeling like there's so much burden for me and getting me off track. I like my life to run smooth. And after experiencing that smoothness in my life, when I see that, I call it divine discontent, and I have to move away from it. And so that's what I had to do. It's not that I love this community any less, or I had any hard feelings, because I totally do feel a part of the spiritual community. And I look back in the past 2 years, 3 years I've been here, and when Kathy left, the only reason I came is Spirit kept nudging me, you need to go to Unity of Beaverton. I know I like the retired life, it's okay. But then when I came, the energy, I'm going to say this, felt that it didn't have the oomph that it used to have. And my heart why? Because this church is so special to me. I had my ordination ceremony here. I did youth ministry here, and I knew that I was being asked to help assist this congregation in growing. And I do feel, looking back this past year, the energy has shifted. We are growing. And so I could step back as far as what I'm doing here. So I'm feeling blessed with the decision. But I'm telling you this story because it's happened to me several times in my lifetime where you're enjoying the good of the experience of what you're doing, but all of a sudden God nudges you into another direction, and that divine discontent in that one area comes up. But what happens is when you release that, then a greater good does come about. I did research this today because I was I couldn't get quite centered getting ready for this talk today. And it reminded me just now as I'm talking, Dorothy Mannon was the bookstore living in Richmond Center before I became the manager. She was retired. And she was excited about retiring. She didn't realize the grief she would have also to experience by doing that. But since she did, her life got full. So that's the thing. We bring things in, we've got to be able to release certain things for the greater good to continue to come into our life. And so as I was looking at just different resources to inspire me, I found something that Charles Fillmore had, well, it was actually a Bible verse, and it was Genesis 19:57 to 26. I'm going to share that with you. We did use the Bible in Unity of Beaverton, and so it's going to feel a bit biblically today on this. But I'm going to share the story. When morning dawned, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Arise, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, lest you be consumed in the punishment of the city." But he lingered, so the men seized him and his wife and his 2 daughters by the hand. That the Lord be merciful to him. They brought him forth and sat him outside the city. And when they had brought him forth, they said, "Flee for your life. Do not look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Flee to the hills, lest you be consumed." But Lot's wife behind him looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Back in the Old Testament times, a pillar of salt was a preservative. The stories of Lot's wife is an extreme example of one who has failed to develop the God-given faculty of renunciation. Because this woman simply would not let go of her old life, even under the pressing emergency of the destruction of the 2 cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. She suffered not only mentally, but physically. She missed her opportunity to start a new life in a new place. That's what holding on to things does. You may lose an opportunity. She was she was trying to hold on to the past with all of its negation, and her whole being was preserved in limitation as a result of it. It is easy to follow in the pattern of Lot's life, but we're going to develop, but if we're going to develop our spiritual faculties, we must include along with the others the power of renunciation or elimination, the ability that enables us to cleanse and purify the whole being. And I know that some people are more interested in using affirmations versus denials. They may consider the whole concept of renunciation as a negative rather than a positive approach. That's not true. Charles Fillmore explains, it is just as necessary that one should learn to let go of thoughts, conditions, and substances in consciousness, body, and affairs when they have served their purpose and no one longer needs them, as it is that one should lay hold of new ideas and new substances to meet one's daily requirements. Therefore, it's very necessary that the eliminated faculty be quickened in one in us, and the right balance between receiving and giving, laying hold and letting go to be established. And that was out of the metaphysical. As elimination is necessary to the completion of the digestive process in the body. So, renunciation is important to the completion of the establishment of divine order. As a channel of elimination, we must be kept open if the body is to continue to receive nourishment. So the channels of the mind power must be kept open for the digestion of the greater ideas through the release of old, unworn, negative thoughts and feelings. I was thinking about that. You look at life, there's always a receiving and a release. In our body, we receive nourishment. We have to release it. We need to receive more nourishment. And full of water. If there's no circulation, it's old and it gets stagnant. So it's all in front of us all the time. It is one of the hardest things for us to do. Would you agree? So renunciation must work in conjunction with all the faculties as we replace old, wrong habits of thought and feelings with new concepts and understanding, and that we be the basis for spiritual growth and development. As we would remove weeds from our garden, the flower garden, or our vegetable garden, in order to give the desired plants room to grow. So we must remove weed thoughts from our mind and prepare room for everybody spiritual season. So, what is the power of elimination? The power of elimination is a decision-making method that creates clarity by pointing you toward a definitive answer in less than 1 minute. You stop sitting on the maybes and move relentlessly toward the only option that supports your goal. Before you can implement this, I'm going to give you a quick decision method. Before you implement it, you must gain clarity around your intention. You must have a clear vision for your goal, for your choice, whether it's business, life, or a financial journey. And don't think of it as in within 5 years, but rather in terms what major achievements you will complete in the next 6 to 12 months. The certainty required when paving this path is clearness should be nearly tangible. You need to be actually feeling that you're able to embody the feeling that you know will come in receiving your goal. So first of all, you get clear with that goal. See that goal, and then imagine exactly what you're feeling as you're receiving that. Those feelings are. So there is some prep work when you do some of this, and what I know is writing things down makes a shift in your mind and your body. It puts a tangible, visible thing in front of you. So I'm going to give you some pointers and steps of how you can have a quick decision-making process. First of all, you write down your visions. You're more likely to accomplish the goals when you put it on paper, actualizing the experience in a journal. Allow the details of how you feel and what will be different to transform your mind on the paper. I do a lot of writing. I know there's a book inside of me, but I've never published it. And what I know is I'm writing, new ideas come to me. And that's the process that's going to start happening for you. New ideas that accomplish your setting a goal. And then what you're going to do is describe your emotion. Now, don't just stop at describing the goal, but write out the emotions that you will experience. How will it feel to complete the challenge? How motivated will you be to continue creating the goal for your life that you envision? Feel the feeling. Bring it down to that feeling level. Then at the intellectual now into the feeling. And then what you're going to do is do it again. You've created palpable energy around a major goal. You recreate that feeling for another area of your life. What goals can you create in your health, your wealth, or your connection with others? Allow that to come in quickly. And after you completely have a clear vision of your goal, you set to implement the power of elimination. This decision-making method is designed to help you make life-improving choices without sitting on a cloud of uncertainty. You get clear. I was clear when I knew that I wanted to live my life in the easy flow of God's guidance. And when I felt the bumps and the disconnect, I knew I had to shift and make a change and let go of whatever was no longer serving. And then my life had that flow again, that prosperity, whether it's with a friendship, job, whatever it is, pay attention to that little discontent that's saying, hey, something's not happening with the flow. And allow that to percolate to reset. Okay. Just imagine right now how to do this and how to put this in the. I was trying to come up with something. So I decided to use a vegetable garden. Okay. And you got 3 months. Give yourself 90 days that you're tasked with creating a plan, funding a plan, and determining the structure of other pertinent tasks related to completing your goal. Also, look at the possible obstacles that could prevent you from achieving the goal that will appear along the way of your journey. Perhaps you're finding a challenge in finding somebody to help you with this garden because your imagination was a large community garden that you could share. And so you may have to be guided into, well, okay, I'll do a garden box in my backyard and just do enough and I can go by myself. Or you start talking to several people and you find that the more people you talk to, you've got more people interested in gardening. So be willing to shift how you're going to get that goal or what that goal is going to be, because you're allowing the divine guidance to help guide you through the process. That's another thing that just came to my mind. We love to control what happens in our life, and we think that we can control it. But the truth is that we can't control it. The change is always happening. And it's learning to go within that flow of life to stay with the changes that are happening, because those changes are for our highest good. Spirit is around us every day and every moment, holding us in the highest good, sending us those messages. And it may come from hearing a small inner voice or something that just triggers you, but pay attention. It's that voice of God within you that is guiding you. And that voice won't argue with you. It just states it, just says it. If you find the voice arguing, it's your ego. That part of us that we still need to honor, because that ego part of us is the part that kept our humanness safe, whether it's emotionally, physically. So you learn to blend them together when you're letting go. So I would say to get your garden going, how do you feel? How will you feel when you're looking at the end of the time and you're actually being blessed with the grace? Imagine the emotion. You know, we have emotion. Maybe we sometimes try to suppress our emotion because sometimes we're embarrassed. But every single emotion that we have is divinely given to us to exercise and to experience. So with the power of letting go or elimination, we are allowed to immediately disqualify any option that doesn't bring us closer to our goal. So in our vision is set with clarity and intention, we gravitate to choices that support the end goal. And also, I want to remind you once again, it's always important for repetition. Repetition starts to really bring in that picture in mind. And as you do that repetition, you avoid the moments maybe it will happen. I tell you, when you set your intention, it's a miracle. It's amazing how fast the universe will support you. And that was one thing that I was missing the last part of last year, because I was in that element before I came back. As I set an intention, that it was there. I was having no problem letting go of things in my life. And then as I was starting to struggle and trying to hang on to everything, as far as what I'm doing here at the church, and what I'm doing at the state, and what I'm doing other, I was starting to get overwhelmed. And I had to make a choice to let go. Well, honestly, I cannot and will not let go of taking care of my mother. And I can't, honestly, I cannot step away from this estate issue until it's resolved. And so my focus is there. And it will be knowing that that is what it is, and I can truly focus on it. I think even to ride that journey is going to be less bumpy work. So hold that for me as I like my kingdom, my spiritual, to support that one. So let's take a moment now, and we should probably moving quite along. Get ready for meditation, and there's another song. I'm going to let you introduce it. Song.
This is a chant Charlie Fleet has created. You're welcome to join him. Just go through it a few times. Be still and know I. Be still and know I am. Be still and know I am. Be still and know I am God.
As you're beginning to relax, making yourself comfortable, lean back in the everlasting arms in which you live, move, and have your being. And let the focus of your attention move to the crown of your head. This is the physical center representing the Christ mind in you. And affirm the Christ mind of God is awakened in me. The Christ mind of God is awakened. Now just bring your attention to your forehead. And think of your forehead representing the conscious level of mind. And affirm, I am consciously aware that the love of God is awakening in me. I am consciously aware that the love of God is awakening in me. Breathe in. Deep breath in all the way down to your stomach, into your solar plex, and release. As you let your attention move into this part of your body, which represents the subconscious level of mind, affirm, I am grateful that the love of God is awakening in me. I am grateful that the love of God is awakening in me. And now let that spotlight of attention travel to the end of your spine, to the very lowest part of your back. And affirm, the Christ in me quickens my faculty of renunciation. The activity of spirit cleanses my mind of limited and false beliefs, making room for greater understanding and newness of life. The activity of spirit cleanses my mind of limited and false beliefs, making room for greater understanding. Breathe that newness in mind into your whole being and allow the God that you are expressed in love and joy. And in that experience of joy and clear direction, feel the sense of gratitude. And affirm, I am grateful. I let go and I let God. Breathe it in. Knowing you recognize the light of God is in you and will never leave, since your awareness is. So I affirm, God is the love that I am. And when you feel ready, start to move your body a little bit. Bring your awareness back into this room, knowing you are renewed and refreshed, letting go of anything that is not like your highest good.